Alright, so I got these ready to go. This is going to be the insert. It goes inside the body to butt up against there so that the neck will be here. But these are they're not perfectly even, so they got to be sanded just a bit on both sides. Just square them up. Otherwise the lid won't close properly. It seems to be a little high on one side. So we're going to do that real quick. This is an offcut from another project. I figured it's square enough to use as a sanding block for the time being. This is not the best method, but it's what I have right now. And here we go. Now I got to clean all the sawdust up off of here. I also use this bench to do restringing and setups on my other guitars, so I use the towel to keep from scratching the body. All right, let's get this glued in there. Tight bond wood glue is the best. Set that down. It's still a little tall, but that's okay. We'll sand it some more later, and it'll, I don't know if you can see from there. Let me see if I can bring this in. So, you see it's just a little proud of the edge there. But that's alright, we can fix that later. In fact, once I press it with the clamps, it might actually improve. Bang it into everything. So we'll clamp the back end first. Gotta be careful because the glue tends to lubricate it to an extent and makes it, slide. And now, I don't think the clamps will fit everywhere. We're going to find out. Yeah, see, that doesn't want to fit all the way across, but I do have these nice offcuts from another project. Put that. We'll do it on that side. That'll do that. Raise this up a little. Forgive my mess in here. My workbench is covered in all kinds of stuff because I have 20,000 projects going at once. But there it is. Clamping is boring. Move that off the bench. Another thing we have to do is notch this board because the fingerboard is going to extend about ½ an inch into here. So I've got to mark that out, figure out where it's going, and then cut that with a coping saw. First we get our center finder rule. I'm going to try and reposition that camera a little bit so you guys can see what I'm doing. The center finder has a 0 point right in the middle and then measures from either side. That way you can get exactly the middle of whatever you're working on. So, first off, is how wide is this? I don't remember. 4.5 inches. So, center of that will be 2 1/4. So if we get 2 1/4 on either side, just like that, that's our middle, at least here. And we'll find another one to make as a middle. So we'll go down to here, and that way I know it's 3 inches side to side. That gives us our center. So there we go. Now we just got to measure down ½ an inch and then the width of the fingerboard. And for that we don't need the big center finder anymore because it's kind of in the way. Trying to do this working around the camera is kind of a pain because I can't get my face down here to look at exactly what I want. Those do not look even to me, so I'm going to double check. According to that, they're even. Do it this way. Trying to line that edge up on the line. That is not even. There's no way that's even. That looks terrible. I think the first line was correct. That's why we use pencil. Let's try a different approach. Measure ½ inch down at each corner. It's okay to have more line than we need. top edge should be square. This whole thing was cut out with a laser engraver. So that looks good. Alright, now what is the width on our neck? Bonk. Width of the fingerboard is 1.5. So we need to measure 3/4 inch to either side of that center line, which we don't really need the center finder for that. We can just do it with this one. 3/4, 3/4. And that is how far in we'll have to cut. Move around the camera here so I can see what I'm doing. And now I want to check that against the fingerboard just to make sure that it looks right. Yep, that's perfect. That's exactly where we want it to be. But now we have to set up something else. Because this is going to be a lid on a hinge. It's going to open this way and close the neck where that's going to sit there. That will hang up on that fingerboard when you're trying to come in down from that angle. So I'm going to cut a 45-degree angle at this junction. So I have to mark that out. At least it's going to be my attempt. We'll see if it works. I can always sand it if I need to. This is our Carpenter's protractor, currently set at 90 degrees. And we want to set it to 45 degrees. Hopefully I can do this where you can see it. Got to find that line that I have. This is difficult to do from behind the camera. I'm having fun with that. Alright, there's our line. Now I just got to hold that steady. Locate my pencil again. I don't know how well that's going to show up. I can kind of see it. But then we do 45 degrees to the other side. I think 45 will be enough. Don't really know until we try it. But that gives us kind of a polygon there. I don't know how well you can see those lines and this light at this angle, but I can see them. That's the important part. So now, recenter that so I don't have to mess with it again later. Now we got to clamp this down and start cutting. Yeah, I know it's a mess. I just need it to not move. Alright. Coping saw. Some drill bits because we're going to drill some holes across here. And the furnace kicked on because it is freezing cold. Well, I wouldn't say it's freezing, but it's cold. What size bit do I want to use? 3/16. It's not like I have to do a radius here in this corner like you would on a normal guitar, because this fingerboard is not radiused at all in that well, it's not radiused at all, period. It's flat, completely flat. There we go. There you guys, so you can see a little better. I'm going to try and go very slow so I don't have any chip out here. Clean up the back of it with a piece of sandpaper afterwards. That. Well, we put our drill bit away because we don't want to lose these. I don't like leaving them in a drill because they get broken. Somebody drops it or knocks it over or whatever. Okay, and we definitely have some tearing in the back, but I expected that. But that's getting removed anyway. Now let's see if I have enough room to actually do what I need to do here. Lower this down a bit. Sorry, my hand is in the way. Zoom a little. All right, that clamp is going to be in my way. That's a problem. That's why I didn't want to do it like this. But I don't have a lot of options. Limited on space. Oh. And I am not left-handed, so working around this tripod is getting to be kind of a problem. Getting that to start is bigger. Once it starts, and my hand is right in your way, but I have to brace this. Oh, come on. That side's cut. Get back up off the floor. I'm gonna have to reposition everything. Definitely need to upgrade. There we go. Nice line there. Actually, I need to be... Oh, I missed that hole. Just barely. So the line is just outside of that hole. So now we got to get the drill bit out again. Let's see if we can correct that. Slightly bigger bit. That should, yeah, that's got it. cut this. You see? Yeah, okay. That's trying to move too much. I have to reposition again. Don't really want to. Don't have the space. The problem with working with a confined space is I don't care about my hand. There we go. Yeah, that'll work. Mostly. It's trying to lift up. So I don't have a good clamp on it, but oh, come on. Teeth are hanging up in the wood. Unfortunately, this is not an operation I can do with the bandsaw. Almost there. There we go. The rest of that will get cleaned up by hand. Okay, put that saw away so we don't lose it or cut ourselves on it. Clamps out of the way because they're useless at this point. Let's raise the camera back up. All right. So, yeah, we got some tear out. Angle isn't quite what I wanted. But that's why we have sandpaper. First off, we'll clean that up. Now we don't have all that tear out around here. Might need to use a file for that instead of sandpaper. Small square file. The angles are completely different on there. I'm not really good at freehanding. But that's what files are for. Alright, let's test our fit here. I think that's going to work out. Because it's going to come up at an angle because the hinges will be along here, along this edge. So it'll be at an angle like this, and it'll fall into place like that. So that worked. Yay! I actually did something right. Don't tell anybody. They'll expect it. These sound holes, this last sound hole still has to be cut. I'm going to do that a little later because for whatever reason, see, where did I put that? I've got one of the sound holes here. I just had it in my hand too. And of course now I can't find it because I want to show it on. Where did I set that down? So that's the problem with having 20,000 projects going at once. You misplace stuff. I know it's here, but it's just a piece of wood shaped like that. For some reason the laser didn't actually punch that out all the way. We don't know why. It didn't cut everything. It cut most of it. Same on this side. You can see where we had some tear out where that's all that was holding that one in, was that little spot. This one has mostly right along this edge of the beak. So I'm going to have to get in there with I'm going to have to drill that and then get in with a coping saw and very carefully follow that line, you know, across here to knock that out of there. Because it's got too much holding it in to flex that out. I'm afraid I'll just tear it. So we'll have to see what we can do. Where did that piece go? See, now that's going to bug me. I focus on things like that. I'll just become hyper-focused on what did I do with that piece, and then we'll be able to sleep. But in any event, here is the bridge that we're putting on this. This is supposed to be for, it's listed as being for a mandolin. So you can see it's got, if I can get it, there we go. It's got 2 notches for each, because it's pairs of strings rather than individual strings. And now we can actually set up for our scale length, which goes from the nut to the bridge. You want to measure, let me get this out of the way. That was close. Alright, so you measure from wherever the nut is, which on this thing is going to be up here. The nut that came with it actually fell off. You can see it wasn't glued very well. But you measure from the nut to the 12th fret here. And then double that distance. So add that distance again, and that will be your actual scale length. I believe this is 25.5. I don't remember. So let's see. Alright, we're right on the line for the nut. There. So you can see that's 12 3/4. So double that should be 25.5. So put this back here again. Put this back in place. And you measure from the 12th fret. Where's my pencil? There it is. So from the middle of the 12th fret to 12 3/4 is right there. Oh, you guys can just barely see that. Right where my pencil is there. Alright, but we're going to measure the other side. I'm going to slide this so you can see it. So, middle of the 12th. It's right there. Alright, now that's not a perfect line by any stretch. And we're going to want to set it back slightly for intonation purposes. It's never exactly like 25.5 inches. It's usually longer than that on the bass side. Sometimes the treble side, but that's pretty rare. But this will sit roughly here-ish. I have to actually do center of the body to get this lined up right. There is a screw hole. It'll be right in the middle, so that'll help. But you want to line up the saddle here, right in the middle of that line. And that is roughly where we're going to place that. Now we'll probably move it back about right there. Usually go about 5/16 backwards, but this has quite a bit of adjustment here to come backwards. So I may not have to put it that far back. May put it like not even a 1/4 inch. You want this center here is where we got to line up. But this will be tuned all the way down to C. I want to say it's a C2 for the lowest notes. So you have a pair of strings, a C2. I believe they're either 0.060 or 0.62 diameter for that string. So, but yeah, that's it so far. It's coming along. Until next time.